So what's the bigger story, Nico Collins being back and the way the Texans look, or the fact that the Cowboys are so bad that the stadium's falling apart?
Number two.
Oh, man.
Almost killed somebody, huh? Dang.
What the hell's going on, man?
Hey, bruh. It's a full moon in Texas.
Apparently Jerry's keeping all that cash for himself.
Like,
It's not necessarily maintaining that beautiful AT&T stadium.
This is like supposed to be state of the art. So apparently Jerry Jones.
State of the fart is more like
that's Jerry Jones.
Dang.
What? Lee said it to me.
Jerry Jones spoke following the game about just the situation with the stadium. Yeah, can you believe it?
Yeah.
He was available for media after the game. Here was Jerry talking about the roof falling off.
We open and shut the door long before any fans or anybody's in there. I think it's 4 hours before. And the reason they do that is to make sure everything is working and to avoid those kinds of risks if there's any fans or anybody in here. So that's what happened, and it worked. And it told us to basically probably don't open the door. But the piece apparently was from the heavy winds that were out here all day.
Jeez.
Jerry, it's not like this is, a piece of tile. That was like a
piece of metal.
That was a big piece of the roof.
Like make you disappear type of big piece.
What are we talking about here?
Like where'd the person go?
So no, we ran it. There were people in there when it fell, correct? Like the video I saw, it looked like there was people in there when the piece fell off the whatever.
Can we point out one thing real quick?
Yeah.
He doesn't say this like the first time. He doesn't seem surprised by it. Like that's the weird thing. He's a pretty cool, calm, and collected about it. He points out more than like the process, how long it takes, and when they usually do it. But he doesn't say like this hasn't happened in the past. It's kind of a weird thing. Like, wouldn't you be like, man, I got no idea. That thing we used to open up there, we never had this before.
So glad everybody's okay.
Yeah, glad everyone's all right and safe. I feel so bad. First time it's ever happened to it. He doesn't say that.
Somebody got clipped before.
I'll done get up there with my screw gun and fix it myself.
This doesn't feel like it was the first time.
Oh, no.
I'm just saying.
We get those there heavy winds. They get moving and gusting around. And, you just don't know what could possibly happen.
Tell me I'm wrong. Where does he say that this is the first time, never happened before?
No, he didn't.
Do you think he's more upset about the stadium falling apart or the fact that his team is one of the worst in the league? I mean, they are.
I think it's more about the stadium.
You know what I hate, though? Just as a quarterback, I understand CeeDee Lamb is frustrated. Just keep playing hard, dude. You got paid. You're good.
So you gotta take.
You got your money. It's not Dak. It's Cooper Rush. Okay, everyone understands that. Everyone in the stadium. Everyone who's a Cowboys fan. It's not Dak. Help the dude out. Like every single ball that's thrown his way that is not like perfectly thrown to him, he kind of gives some effort. Like there was one, he kind of became a defensive player to knock it down from Stingley on a double move that probably never should have been thrown in the first place. But it's like I hate when wide receivers who act like, look, I'll be honest with you. Of all the players on offense, they have the easiest job. You seldom block. You got to go up and make plays, make catches sometimes, but you're not in the mix. You're not in the pit. You're not getting slammed by dudes when you're kind of defenseless. At least you can use at times a stiff arm and stuff. When you're a quarterback, you're sitting back there getting teed off on. You're not a lineman. You're not a tight end or a running back taking that abuse. You're a wide receiver. Like, you can go make a play on the football and help your quarterback out if you can and not, like, make it like it's the biggest thing in the world, all right? All that stuff always bothers me when I see it. I'm like, dude, help the guy out. Like, it's not like it's perfect back there for him either. And obviously, they don't really have much of a chance. The turning point in the game when I was kind of watching thinking, yeah, this is going to get out of hand now, was the Brandon Aubrey field goal. That was what, 64? 4? Like, but it could have been from maybe 70.
Right.
He made it look effortless. And they get the 15-yard penalty on Derek Barnett for the slap of the helmet on Terrence Steele. And so then they move them up, and of course they end up going for fourth down, don't convert. It's a turnover on down,
crazy,
don't get any points out of it.
No points.
Literally.
And you're like, it went from being a one-score game to now they're back down 10. It literally killed any momentum they had after that penalty altogether. And by the way, Cooper Rush threw a ball that should have been taken back for a pick six in one of those ensuing plays. I swear to God, as soon as they announced that penalty, I'm like, this is not going to work out well for Dallas.
He threw it right to the kid.
Right to him.
Yeah, he just dropped
right
it.
to him, Bullock.
Yeah.
But, dude, I was like, can you imagine if that would have been a pick six off that?
Oh, man. What do you do? Like, the question I came away with yesterday is, again, my conclusion. I like to draw conclusions after I watch games or whatever. But
What up, conclusion?
yeah,
We need some sound on that where we kind of just go, like, it's time for LaVar's conclusions.
Yeah. Well, here's one, two, maybe. The Texans. I came away from that game thinking that this is a team that still has to define what direction they definitively want to go in. I think that they probably feel good about where they're at, but I think they ultimately have to be very aware of being careful of what their confidence level is, because they, while having some really, really positives that you can draw away from what it is that they do both offensively and defensively, it still remains to be seen if they can play at a high enough level to further, take a step forward from where they were last year, specifically heading into the playoffs. That was my conclusion for the Texans. My conclusion for the Cowboys was, again, this continued theme of an all-in season. If we're looking at this as this self-proclaimed all-in season, and this is by far their worst season, and maybe this was Dak's worst year.
2020 when he got injured. Before
before that injury, I mean, because I don't think he played long enough for you to take a large enough sample size to say this was his worst season as a Dallas Cowboy. But I think he played enough this year for you to say statistically he was heading for his worst year as a Dallas Cowboys starter. And this team is playing at its worst level in quite some time. What does Jerry Jones do? And if blowing it up, because if this is what all in looks like, if blowing it up is what you're going to do, how do you begin to blow it up? You only have paid two guys really, right? And CeeDee Lamb and Dak Prescott. You haven't paid Micah Parsons yet. Is Micah Parsons a part of this blowing up and rebuilding? Now, while you would conventionally say yes, because he's a cornerstone of your team and of your defense, but is he expendable in the sense that if you start over?
Oh, I see what you're doing.
I'm just saying, if you start over with a new coaching staff,
right.
are there hard feelings from Micah Parsons, or is there hard feelings from the Dallas Cowboys? Do they pay the money?
Jonas.
Yep.
What am I doing?
You're trying to get the Raiders to make a deal for
we
him.
love you, but we know what you're doing.
What am I doing?
No, I don't know about the Raiders, but
He's trying to pair up Navarro Bowman with Micah Parsons.
That would be dope.
Stick
City
West.
I'm not definitely not saying that. I also think there's a contract that was discussed this offseason and it didn't happen, and there's some frustration maybe, and we heard reports about Mike Zimmer and him not getting along,
right? And that played out, that bubbled up like Lee's guts and the in the media,
then now we've got a player who maybe even the team had some reports, rumors on, but maybe there's I'm just. All right.
I mean, isn't that the most capital you have in order to be able to maybe possibly accrue some more picks?
There's no one on that roster that could warrant as much capital. Given Mike on his rookie deal, I mean, he's got to get paid at some point, which should be this offseason. So
if you are going to blow it up, why would you just, why not start anew? You're stuck with the two offensive guys, so why not just build it up, try to rebuild it? You got to add a lot of pieces on offense. You got to add you have fewer pieces to add on the defense, but you have to solve what is the disconnect between Zimmer and coaching staff with this defensive unit, because they have literally looked like a shell of what they were in years past under Quinn. So those were my conclusions. I mean, what do you do if you're Jerry Jones? Because this is not the team that you say, okay, I feel confident going into this offseason that this was just an aberration. This was a one-time thing. This is not who we are as a team, so let's give it another offseason and let's come back. No, they're almost on the level of underachieving as much as the New York Jets. It's just as dire a situation as the Jets. Like, now you're to a point now where, just like the Jets, you expect this Dallas team to lose versus them win. So you don't come back with these same players. What do you do if you're Jerry Jones? You got to do something. You have to do something because you have to sell hope. I mean, that was my takeaway from the game, because this is not a team that shows to be competitive. And you also realize, and even in the losses that you were getting with Dak Prescott, you realize how important Dak Prescott is to this team, even in the losses that they were getting while he was playing. They're still a much better team, more competitive than they are now with him out. So I don't know, man. It's a very, very peculiar, a very, very compromising position if you're Jerry Jones or anybody else that's making decisions for this Dallas team.